So every January, we all do it. We set these massive life-changing goals. This year I'm going to save $20,000, lose 30 pounds, and finally stop spending $6 on coffee every day. And for the first 2 weeks, we're crushing it. But then February sneaks up and suddenly we're back to scrolling TikTok and saying, maybe next year. Now, why does this happen? Well, because we got too big too fast. So this year I'm doing things differently. And instead of setting these unattainable goals, I'm focusing on simple, sustainable strategies that work. So my goal for 2025, to maximize my investment returns, not by chasing trends or luck, but by sticking to a plan that builds wealth consistently over time. Here's exactly how I'm doing it. All right, so I've made a bunch of notes on sort of this plan. I wanted to have it sort of formatted in a way where I felt like I could deliver it in the most beneficial way. And so I'm just going to jump right in. So step one is maxing out my Roth IRA. Now, a lot of people that I run into, some of my peers, don't actually invest in their Roth IRA, and it absolutely blows my mind because it is obviously one of the best vehicles that you can have for growing your wealth, because all the money that you put in is going to grow completely tax-free. So there's a ton of advantages to it. And I like to try to maximize my contributions every single year. And the max contribution you can make for 2025 is $7,000. Now, I'm actually going to pop open my current Roth IRA and just go over some stuff real quick. So as you can see, this is my current Roth IRA. There's $24,000 in this right now. And my plan is to immediately on day one contribute $7,000. So that way I don't have to think about it throughout the rest of the year. I'm also going to set up recurring investments that just pull from that $7,000. And I only invest in two things in my Roth IRA. The first thing is VTI, which tracks the entire US stock market. And on average, you're going to get an 8 to 10% return annually. So if I click into it now, you can just see some of the results that I have over time. You can see in this, I have 46 shares, $235 average cost with a market value of $13.8K. And on this, I've got a total return of $2,900, up 27%. So this is at work currently with all the stuff that I have in there. You can see I set up weekly buys already for the rest of this year, but again, want to be maxing this out for next year. And the other one that I invest in my Roth IRA is SCHD. So if I click into SCHD, if you don't know anything about it, it basically is some of the best dividend paying companies. And investing in dividend ETFs or dividend stocks in a tax-free account is just like such a cheat code, because you're going to be paid those dividend payments. You can reinvest them and you're not paying taxes on them because, again, it's just tax-free. So as you scroll in here, you can see this one seems like it has a lower return than VTI, 14%. Up $1,366. But you have to remember, Robinhood doesn't do a great job at tracking the dividends that are actually paid. And you can see in upcoming activities here, I have $102.75 coming in from a dividend payment. Now, the cool thing is, if I actually go down and I scroll to the history of what's been going on with this, you can see all of the different dividends that have come in the past. So you can see in September, it was $91.35. Now, this month, it's up over $100. And before that, it was $89.25. And if I keep scrolling down, you'll see that it was a little bit lower, $58.66. So you can see how this scales up over time as you invest more. And the thing that I do with those dividend payments that are made is I just reinvest them back into the same, SCHD or VTI. And as you invest more and more, your dividends get higher. It's a no-brainer strategy, and it's going to be very effective in wealth building. So going back to this main screen, my overall strategy is to take the $7,000. I am going to divide it by 2. So into SCHD and VTI, there will be a total of $3,500 invested. There's 250 trading days. And so what that means is $14 every single trading day into each of these investments. And that is the foundation of what my goals are. Now, step 2, I'm actually going to head into my individual account where I have $28,000 in. And if I scroll down, you're going to see that I have set up a recurring investment similar to what those other ones are in QQQ. And now QQQ is the NASDAQ 100, which features shares like Apple. It has Microsoft, Tesla, and it's got a 15% average annual return over the past decade, which is actually outperforming the market itself, which is really, really solid. So I just wanted to get a slice of this pie. You can see I've been investing $100 a week. I plan to continue that over 2025, which is going to be $5,200 into this investment and just continue growing this position. Now, I've kind of taken a back seat to selecting individual stocks in the past. It got to a point where it was just a ton of work going in. And I wanted to have more of a hands-off experience. And so investing in this way, I'm feeling really confident about because I can just set this stuff up literally like day one and then forget about it and not have to worry about it. Now, the next section, it's great because it's all within Robin here. So I can go into crypto and you can see my crypto value is up to $2,000. Now, I actually have more crypto in this little bad boy right here. It's a ledger and I've got some Bitcoin in cold storage, but 2,000 of it is in the Robinhood investing app. And what I've been doing is investing $50 a week for the past 10 months. Now I'm going to continue investing at least $50 a week throughout 2025. And you can see the total return on this literally from starting 10 months ago is up over 50% or over $600. This is one of the best returns I've gotten in that time period for an investment. And now my thoughts on Bitcoin, like it could go anywhere, right? Except I think there's too much of an opportunity to just completely ignore it. So what I would do is I would definitely invest. I think it deserves a position in most portfolios. I think your net worth, there should be a certain allocation towards Bitcoin. And what I'm personally doing is I'm aiming between 5 and 10% of my net worth to start transitioning into Bitcoin. And I'd like to hold more Bitcoin in that category. So I'm excited to see where this investment takes me in the future. But again, that is part of the foundation, $50 a week into Bitcoin. And let's keep going with the strategy. So if you've been following along with my channel for a while, you'll know that I started a new series relatively recently where I've been investing in a way that I haven't really seen anybody else do. And that strategy is really straightforward and one that actually completely changed my mind because I wasn't really very comfortable with how I was spending. I wasn't feeling very disciplined. And what I mean by that is I ultimately was just spending more money than I was comfortable based off of what I was making. And to combat that, I want to do this new strategy in the new year where I invest in every single dollar that I spend in a non-necessity. I'm going to invest the same amount. So for example, let's say I upgrade my iPhone, or actually let's say I bought a new Xbox and the Xbox costs, I don't know, $400. Well, I actually need $800, $400 to buy the Xbox and $400 to go into investments. And what's really cool about this strategy is one, it gets your overspending in check. And it really makes you be intentional about the purchases that you make. Hey, if I go out and I buy a Starbucks coffee for $6, it's actually going to cost me $12 and I'm going to be investing some of it. It forces you to invest and like better your financial future, even if you have some pretty tough spending habits now. And I think it's going to help me get that in check. But the cool thing is with this is like, actually, as you do it, I would probably say that like the smartest thing is probably to invest in just like market tracing ETFs and just put the difference into that investment. But for me, what I really have wanted to try, and I haven't seen many people do, is I want to invest specifically into the companies that I'm actually spending money on. If you think about it, it kind of makes sense. I'm backing these companies by buying their products. I believe in them and I'm showing that with the, consumer dollars that I've been spending. I want to be really intentional with my purchases as well. And so I want to actually support those companies. So if I'm buying those products or those services, then it kind of makes sense that they could help me out financially with some investments. I already believe in the power of them to a degree. And I think it would be just cool to chart. So maybe what I'll end up doing is comparing what the return on those individual investments are versus what it would have returned if it was invested in a market tracing ETF. And I'm going to keep everybody updated on this channel. So it'll be a series that I think is really cool to follow along with. Now, lastly, where I lost a lot of momentum on my YouTube channel was when I bought a new property. It was the first rental property that I ever bought, and I was more excited for this than anything ever in my life. And it completely knocked me down and was not what I expected. But after years of renovation work and getting it in check and moving in, I have been living here almost with no living expenses because one unit practically covers the entire cost. Now, what this has allowed me to do is shell away a lot more money to be saving for another property. So 2025, mark my words, I will feel like an absolute failure if this doesn't come true, but I am making it a priority to buy my next investment property. And what I'm thinking I'm leaning towards right now is I don't really necessarily want to live. I've been watching the market for a while. There's not many multifamilies that are coming up that are in decent enough condition to move in day one and feel confident and comfortable in. I think what's going to end up happening is I'll probably end up getting a lower end single family house that I need to put some work into, move into that, and like get the snowball rolling with more of these rentals. So I'm really, really excited for that. It's been a fantastic investment for me overall. This first one, it's been a great hedge to inflation. And I think there's a ton of opportunities that I'll be able to unlock just by going further down the real estate route. Now, I've learned a lot from this first property, managing tenants, managing different projects, fixes, renovations, the whole 9 yards. I've got more of a team built out than I've ever had before, and I'm feeling confident about some of those investments that I can make. So that's honestly probably the heftiest goal that I have. Everything else I can knock out pretty early. And like I said, I'm going to be investing that money sort of day one in a lot of them and just having it be automatic. So I'm excited for that. But overall, the number one thing that I've realized in investing over the years is that consistency is key. Everything will fall in line if you just stay true to your plan, stay true to the long-term horizon. When you try to get rich quick, when you try to invest too soon, it just burns you pretty much every time. So I don't want to get caught up in the hype. I want to stick to the plan and have something that I can follow for the long term. So I'm really excited. I think this is going to be the best year that I ever have financially, and I'm really excited to document all of that. So if you want to learn more about the strategy that I'm doing with the every dollar spent, I want you to check out this video right here. It is fantastic. And heading into this year, I'm interested to hear what some of your financial goals are. So leave a comment down below. Thanks for checking out the video. Have a great day.